Hauptkette is ready for orders.
Welcome to a 1v1 on Semoskiy Winter. This game is going to be between 11SSPanzerGrenadier Nordland. That was my best attempt. Fighting for the Fatherland versus ImSkemo. Fighting for America. We already have a doctrine selection from ImSkemo. We went with Rifle Company. Pretty good on Semoskiy. Probably better on the summer version. Definitely performs well on the winter version also, because of the flamethrowers in particular, giving you that little extra boost fighting against units in buildings. PanzerGrenadier Nordland, of course, has scavenge, spec ops, and fortifications in his loadout, actually. So that's a pretty unique loadout, actually. Two premium commanders, if you will, and special operations. So pretty unusual loadout. Doesn't have access to the Jagd Tiger or Fallschirmjäger. Fallschirmjäger can be useful on this map, but we'll see if he's able to make one of those commanders work. I know fortifications certainly works pretty well on this map. There's an engagement happening for the South Fuel. Stern Pioneers fighting off the rear echelon troops and scouting with the SWS half-track, although he should probably stop taking fire from those rear echelon troops needlessly. He is giving them a little bit of free veterancy, taking a bit of damage, putting it slightly at risk. Of course, there is also the risk of your opponent having gone Rifle Company. If he did go Rifle Company and catches your SWS with an anti-tank rifle grenade, there's a pretty decent chance that it'll get destroyed, especially if you spread yourself too thin right off the beginning, but fortunately that is not what happened. We do have 2 rifles into a veteran rifle opening from ImSkemo. Riflemen combating some Volksgrenadiers in the house over there. Stern Pioneers moving up to support. The Riflemen take a position behind some green cover in the graveyard. And the other squad disengages and moves into the church for some reason. So that leaves that particular rifle squad in a pretty vulnerable position. And then they're forced to retreat. Meanwhile, down here, some Volksgrenadiers get caught by the veteran riflemen and some rear echelon troops, but they're going to take a position in this building while the veteran riflemen take control of this fuel point, but unfortunately is not connected because ImSkemo has yet to send a squad down there to grab that strategic point. He also needs to get a little bit more map harassment happening up here. But since he didn't get any extra rear echelon troops, his capping power is somewhat limited.
They're wise to us. Orders. Reinforcements in.
He's not really doing any capping with his riflemen either. He's just utilizing them as combat troops, which is, of course, where they're best utilized. In the early game, it's better to send rear echelon troops for capturing. Volley fire going out on the Volksgrenadiers in the deep snow. They're probably going to get suppressed soon. But PanzerGrenadier Nordland does have access to grenades now, but I'm not sure he wants to waste the munitions. He only has 42. It will win him this engagement, but it looks like he might win it regardless, if reinforcements don't arrive soon, which they're not going to. And there they go.
Rifle squad ready for action.
Still, ImSkemo engaged rather cost-effectively there, using only a rifle squad and a rear echelon troop squad to do significant damage to his opponent. The thing is, he didn't really have any other squads available in the area to follow up, take territory. The fighting position isn't really being utilized either here. It's defensive position.
Our supply line just got cut off.
Fuel is going to fall to the Oberkommando West again here very shortly. Unfortunately, ImSkemo has not been benefiting from any map control here in the north. He could have taken it ages ago unopposed. It's already 5 minutes into the game though, and he hasn't even made an attempt on any of these points up here in the north. which would definitely help him equalize the situation.
Overrunning one of our capture
If he did
points.
have them, he was banking a little too hard on winning engagements by building only riflemen and no extra rear echelon troops. You can't really afford to lose any engagements if you don't spread your forces out and take territory. You pretty much have to win everywhere that you engage and take that territory. Since that didn't happen, he's now struggling a little bit. Capturing the strategic point while inside of his fighting position. Kind of cool. Kind of a neat little trick, I guess, building a fighting position inside the capture circle. I mean, it doesn't come up that often, but it's still kind of neat. Riflemen taking up a position behind this haystack by the fuel. More riflemen moving up here towards the strategic point in the north. Finally getting that map harassment done up there in the north, so that's good to see. More harassment happening down here in the south. Pretty much unopposed. The Overcommand West player is not really making a play to preserve any of his territories, just letting it all get taken. While he reinforces here on his medical truck, and he's really behind for manpower because he's purchased a 6-minute Raketenwerfer and a forward retreat point, which is 570 manpower spent on not combat troops. So it's going to be quite a pretty significant setback, but of course he is preparing himself for the early utility car. Probably a good call. His opponent has gone lieutenant. Not sure if he saw that in the fog of war, but it's that's generally what you're gonna have to deal with. Full rifleman squad is overextended and goes down.
Let's go. Cobra, ready.
But Rifle Company is probably one of the few commanders that opens the used forces up to utilizing captain tier instead of lieutenant tier. So it's not guaranteed.
Enemy movement on the flank.
But now he's definitely played his hand. Lieutenant is on the
We now
field.
have parachute flares to scout enemy positions.
Taking up a position in this building. Meanwhile, PanzerGrenadier has 99 munitions, so he can afford his first Panzer truck. I'm surprised he hasn't purchased it already.
Contact Panzerfaust.
And he's about 10 fuel away from his Schwer Panzer headquarters now. And it looks like he's going to be constructing that in a relatively forward position. He may want to be careful about where exactly he places that. His opponent has gone Rifle Company and Lieutenant tier though, so he knows that his opponent's AT guns are still a while away. Especially if ImSkemo rushes a major, which is unusual for Rifle Company because of the EZ8, but it's still possible. Folks, Grenadiers engaging riflemen in the building. They eject the building. Why did they do that? Got a pretty strong position in there. For some reason, he just left and then had to retreat. He probably could have inflicted some pretty significant losses on his opponent if he had just stayed in that building. As they approached, they took quite a bit of damage, especially with a supporting squad here. Another squad is taking up a position in the building instead, and this one's going to move down here. But this deep snow is just making it really difficult for all these riflemen to maneuver around this area. Meanwhile, in the north, Volks Grenadiers are harassing, taking some territory back. It looks like they chased something away. No, maybe not. Maybe they were unopposed. Looks like they were unopposed. Bit of a stalemate here in the middle, and the American's not really getting much accomplished by just sort of hurling himself at his opponent's lines. But he is engaging cost effectively, bleeding his opponent's manpower without really taking any casualties himself.
Half track, waiting for orders.
We're losing a capture point.
Riflemen are getting focused down now, though. Being out reinforced. More riflemen making their way to the front lines to support, but he needs to be mindful of the fact that he's losing the map in the midst of this engagement. Oh, but he has produced a anti-air half track. Hopefully he'll be able to utilize that against That harassing squad? Nope, he's not utilizing that to counter-harass. Instead, he's bringing it straight down here towards this fight.
Flanking attack!
He needs to be careful, though. His opponent has a Raketenwerfer and a Panzerschreck, so it's going to come down to positioning in micro.
Enemy contact!
If he can get anything accomplished with that, the Raketenwerfer is slightly out of position. He's getting into really close range. Really close range. And again, I'm not sure exactly what that Raketenwerfer is doing. I don't think it has a line on it from where it is. I think the battle group headquarters is in the way. Grenade goes out, but it doesn't really do anything. That squad's forced to retreat after throwing a grenade at the Raketenwerfer, though, clearing it. Oh, Panzerschreck shot connects, though.
Crowds are sniffing around our
Utilizing this pretty well, considering
captured.
his opponent can't really find a way to push him away, but he is forced back once that Panzerschreck shot connects. Looks like there's another fighting position right here. Interesting. And it's actually almost killing a Volksgrenadier squad there that's harassing the fuel. He probably could have moved out a little further bit south, though, so that it would have a it would fully cover the fuel point, but it looks like it was sufficient considering he wasn't paying attention. I'm not sure that's going to get away. Nope, riflemen in the house, finish it off. Meanwhile, these riflemen are going to have to retreat soon. I'm surprised they've survived this long, to be honest. Not really accomplishing anything just sitting here. They throw one more grenade for good measure, trying to inflict maximum bleed. He's definitely got the munitions to spare. He's got 164, and he's very soon going to have access to the white phosphorus smoke barrage. Only one command point away, and once he does, this is going to become a very dangerous area to turtle in. He's going to have to spread himself out a lot more. That being said, American player definitely needs to focus on map control a little bit more. He's focusing too much on winning engagements, and while it's important to, you know, bleed your opponent's manpower early in the game with your superior riflemen, it's equally important to keep control of the map. And it looks like the Schwerpanzer headquarters is finally going up. It's certainly very late. 12-minute Schwerpanzer headquarters. He should have had that constructed a long time ago. He's got 50 fuel. He should be producing his looks right now, not his building. So he was really slow to do that, but he just didn't have an opportunity to place it in the location that he wanted, I guess. But this aggressive placement is a gamble. Of course, his opponent has gone AA half-track, so that hurt his fuel. He also lost this fuel point, so that hurt his fuel income. He's not going to be able to rush out any tanks anytime soon. In fact, he is currently producing a major, so he's not going to have any AT guns either. I'm somewhat surprised, again, that he went with a major, considering he has access to the Easy 8 eventually. That's what he decided to do, and I think that may make things difficult without having AT guns. Nice grenade! Oh, squad wipe! Perfect grenade. Opponent was not paying attention. Too busy trying to micro his Raketenwerfer in a position to take out that AA half-track. Very nicely done. Raketenwerfer gets suppressed by the AA half-track as it's pulling out. Probably needs to retreat. Meanwhile, Stern Pioneers are taking down those riflemen, though. Look out. Okay, he does manage to retreat those just in time. The Raketenwerfer gets cleared by rear echelon troops, and the Stern Pioneers are unable to regroup before getting suppressed. And I don't know if anybody has noticed that this Panzerschreck is just sitting here in the bushes. The Volksgrenadiers are ignoring it, Stern Pioneers ignored it, and the riflemen have made no attempt to recover it, so I think nobody even realizes that that's sitting right there. Which is really unfortunate because both players could make really good use of it. Oh no! He didn't realize that that was happening in time. He went to go micro something else. He got punished for that little maneuver. That's not good. That is not good at all. Thank you, Kasperitis. Glad that you're enjoying the show.
Grenadiers ready. Stand ready. Shift your fire.
Reinforcements in. Welcome to the death factory.
Pick this up! What is wrong with you? He just doesn't see it, I guess. Oh, maybe he noticed it now. Oh, maybe he wants to pick it up with overs? No, he's going to pick it up. I'm pretty sure he saw it. I think. Right? No? Regardless, these riflemen are getting focused down. Gonna be forced out of the house soon. There he goes. Okay. Whew. That was gonna drive me insane. Looks like a white phosphorus barrage is being called down on the right here, although I'm not sure why. Although he's walking towards an opponent while in white phosphorus. What is he doing? Run away. Insane. Every single bullet those riflemen fire has the potential to take out a model. Well, that inflicted a lot of damage, but like I said, not particularly useful to utilize if you don't have a way of following up with pretty much anything, because even one bullet of any kind will take out a model. And of course, being in combat prevents healing, so if you can follow up on that white phosphorus barrage with well-timed infantry charge or even a light vehicle, like a utility car, you can start wiping out squads pretty quick. Be a very devastating thing to use in coordination with a push, in combination with a push, but on its own, as you can see, it doesn't really do anything, because they'll just heal that damage right back up, since the damage over time...
Krauts are taking one of our points.
The damage over time can't kill models. Only the actual impact of the projectiles themselves falling can actually wipe models, so you usually only get a few, like a small handful of model losses utilizing that ability, but despite inflicting massive damage. We do have our first tank on the field, and it's a Jackson. Definitely the safe choice, considering he invested the 60 extra fuel into the AA half-track, delaying his tech a little bit. Getting a Sherman would certainly help him against these infantry, but he doesn't want to risk it. He sees Schwer Panzer headquarters. He knows there's going to probably be a Lux at some point. And even if he skips Lux, there is going to be a Panther somewhat soon. So he's purchasing that Jackson in preparation for that. White phosphorus barrage going out on the building. It does inflict very nice damage on that Raket Warfare. It's going to be forced out of the building. Should definitely get it out of there. It's taking a ton of damage. Almost destroyed. Meanwhile here, we do have some freshly produced Obersoldaten being used to harass. Definitely a very nice harassment squad. I think his opponent has revealed that he's purchased a Jackson, which means that there's not going to be any Sherman on the field to counter-harass. So those Obersoldaten should be relatively safe in vehicles. Still, that Jackson is inflicting massive damage on that Schwer Panzer headquarters. It looks like he may be able to finish it off. He is going to be under Raketenwerfer fire, though. Oh, and Panzerschreck fire. What is he doing? Oh, no. He does manage to round the corner just barely in time. But he needs to get that Jackson repaired.
Squad, get ready.
Very nearly manages to take out the Schwer Panzer headquarters, but unfortunately, screening troops arrived just barely in the nick of time. But I'm not sure that that Schwer Panzer HQ is going to survive another push by that Jackson. It's only about three hits or so away from dead. It's 2 or 3, I'm not sure. I think that's 2 actually. Yeah, one more. Here it comes. He is in range of that Raketenwerfer though, I think. No, he's just barely out of range. There it goes. Schwer Panzer headquarters taken down. Very nice. He needs to get that to safety though. Get that to safety. Go, go, go. There he goes. He did lose that rifleman squad. He had to utilize that to provide vision on the Schwer Panzer headquarters. So unfortunately that rifle squad goes down. He probably could have taken it out without losing the rifle squad if he had utilized the rifleman flare, which he's had access to since whatever that is, like 3 command points or something. Unfortunately, I guess that didn't occur to him, or he didn't want to waste the munitions. He only has 56. And the flare is actually quite expensive. 40. It's worth it though. Certainly worth it to take out a Schwer Panzer headquarters without losing a full rifleman squad, but regardless, nice move. That's going to be a pretty significant setback for this Oberkommando West player. He does have 150 fuel at his disposal, So he may just skip Panther and go straight for a King Tiger, but he's going to have to do like a stall for a long time. He wants to survive long enough to bring a King Tiger onto the field.
Enemy movement! On the flank!
Probably just repurchase his Schwer Panzer headquarters in a slightly less aggressive position.
300 points.
And yeah, that placement was just way too aggressive. It was a little bit too easy for the American to take that out unpunished. The American continues to assault from positions in this building, trying to harass territory, taking up positions in multiple buildings across the slightly north area, or area slightly north of the Commando West defensive position. Those Obersoldaten getting some kills on those riflemen out in the open. These riflemen in the building doing what they can. Lieutenant in this building doing what he can. But some counter-harassment attempts are occurring. It looks like a Sherman has been called in. We have some rear echelons grabbing the fuel. More riflemen moving up here to grab the strategic point. These Obersoldaten are extremely vulnerable to counter-harassment. They're so overextended. He could easily wipe that full Obersoldaten squad if he sent his Sherman to go deal with that, but instead he's moving his Sherman, doing some stunt driving here, moving his Sherman straight down towards the middle to support in these engagements. So, bit of a strategic decision, I guess, to allocate his Sherman to this area rather than to get a free squad wipe on those Obersoldaten. I guess he's hoping to win a decisive engagement here. I don't know what that is doing, but okay. So much for that SWS half-track.
Supply half-track destroyed.
Sherman taking Rakettenwerfer fire. It has to get out of there. Launching smoke to cover his retreat. And those Obersoldaten are about to encounter these wounded riflemen, and I hope he watches this engagement. Okay, he saw that. Good. Good. It can be hard to maintain awareness of your harassing units when you're in the midst of a big engagement here in the middle, so very nice awareness of the map. So that is a very easy situation to lose a full squad in. But now that he knows those Obersoldaten are up there, he's going to be moving his Sherman up there and try and wipe the squad. He does have high explosive rounds equipped. This one is trying to go for a crush as well. They're somewhat clumped. Oh, now they've spread out. Both initial shots completely missed, unfortunately. 3 shots in a row, inflicting almost no damage. It looks like the squad's going to get away pretty much unpunished. Of course, he's had ample opportunity to try and wipe the squad. He probably should have done it while he had the chance. If they're on the victory point's going to be a little too difficult here. They're going straight for the base, but it looks like he's going to try and go for it. He could dive the base. There's not really anything. Wait, what is this thing? What is that doing? Oh no, what is this Jackson doing? I don't know what that was. It just sort of like, I don't know what the purpose of that was. That was terrible. Okay, well there goes this Jackson to a single Rakettenwerfer and a Volksgrenadier, just because kind of, that must have been a misclick or a mismicro or something. He was like trying to chase that over squad with his Sherman and he like selected his Jackson or something. Control group mishap or something, I don't know. I don't know what that was, but so much for that Jackson. Meanwhile, Pack 43 is getting constructed here by the defensive position. Wow, I didn't realize the barrel just like popped out of nowhere. And that's gonna deter any armor pushes. Flanking it will be difficult because of the Rakettenwerfer and Panzership support. And once the Pack 43 goes up, the American player should essentially rotate away from attacking this position and start attacking the base. On this map at least, because Pack 43 doesn't have range on the headquarters. And you can prevent him from producing any more Volksgrenadiers or Rakettenwerfers if you can destroy his headquarters, so that is definitely helpful. The Schwer Panzer HQ is down as well, so he can't currently produce any more Obersoldaten. So every squad wipe becomes a pretty big deal if you can take out the headquarters as well. Continue to hurl yourself at this line can be difficult. That being said, the White Phosphorus Barrage is a huge benefit. Makes any infantry charge on this position way easier. Again, he needs to coordinate the White Phosphorus Barrage with his pushes. He just keeps on dropping it when he doesn't, or when he's not in position. He had to follow up. Unfortunately, Obersoldaten tearing those riflemen to shreds. I'm not sure he's. Yep, he did notice just in time. Nice. Meanwhile, over here, taking heavy damage. Fighting position is destroyed by the Pack 43. A new Jackson has been produced. The Sherman is also making its way back through the middle. Obersoldaten are about to begin harassing again. The Sherman may be mobilized to counter-harass
Heavy machine
in the
gun
near
team
future.
ready for battle.
American continuing to be bled as he hurls himself at this defensive line, though. Oh no, what is that Sherman doing? No! Well, actually, it pretty much instantly killed the Pak-43. Still, there's a lot of Panzerschrecks and Raketwerfer over here. Trying to go for a squad wipe. Also calling in white phosphorus. I'm not sure it's going to get away, though. It just took a ton of damage. Pak-43 rotating. Oh, he just barely got out of range.
Protect the flank!
Well, that inflicted quite a lot of bleed, so that was actually a pretty good push. Thought he was going to get punished harder than he was, but fortunately the Raketwerfer was caught way out of position during that. Still, he needs to reinforce his riflemen. Oh no, don't lose any full squads. Don't lose any full squads. Nope, there goes that squad. He's engaging Obersoldaten in open ground. He needs to position his infantry in cover a little bit better here. Just kind of getting cut down. Meanwhile, MG34 is making its way to the front lines, although it's not in cover either. It needs to be careful. And the Sherman is too busy getting repairs to be able to assist against those Obersoldaten, which are just tearing everything to shreds. Already up to 26 kills, going to wipe that squad. Grenade goes out on the MG34, wiping that. Oh, Jackson's just barely in range of the Pak-43 and has to pull back. But those Obersoldaten almost single-handedly won that engagement because he was shooting at Volksgrenadiers while taking Obersoldaten fire. He had to retreat everything. Look at all the dead rifleman models as a result. I think he lost at least one full squad, maybe just one full squad, although I don't think that this is going to escape. It might. Next burst. Oh, he retreated instead of trying for a lucky burst. MG34 is going to get recovered. SWS is making its way forward to do something. Hopefully this one won't be thrown away. As for unit preservation, things aren't looking too good for the American player. The Overcommando West, on the other hand, hasn't really lost much at all. He's bled a ton of manpower. He's having a lot of trouble maintaining his armor. But, having a lot of trouble maintaining his army. But his veterancy is starting to creep up there. He's inflicted some pretty significant losses on his opponent. Lost to Jackson, lost a few full squads of riflemen, so what is this thing doing? Is he really gonna try and set up like a thingamajig right there? Honestly, ImSkemo should pull back and like let him build build like a really ill-advised Schwerer Panzer headquarters right there, so that he'll waste a ton of resources on it. Oh well. It's kind of a gamble though. You don't want to like play poorly based on the hope that your opponent is going to do something really dumb. MG34 gets recrewed. Sherman's getting a little close. Pak-43 range is just barely standing outside, so he is somewhat safe right there. Still, the green cover and all of these shot blockers and stuff make it quite difficult for them to land any high explosive rounds. Just sort of hit all kinds of random stuff. Oh no, look out, Obersoldaten! Wow, he is lucky that that is not a squad wipe right there. That HE shell could have easily destroyed that full squad. No lucky shots for ImSkemo, unfortunately. He really kind of needs some. He's not going to be able to win this if he can't get some good squad wipes. Sort of turn the tide back in his favor. I'm actually kind of surprised to see him continue making so many tanks. His opponent has lost his Schwerer Panzer headquarters, which means he can't make more Obersoldaten and he can't make a Lux. As soon as he destroyed that, he pretty much had free reign to just make like 8 or 9 squads of vet riflemen, throw some flamethrowers and bars on them, and then just walk all over his opponent. But unfortunately, he decided to go with a bunch of tanks instead, and he's really struggling to keep up with the Raketwerfers, Panzerschrecks, and now Pak-43. Spamming too many tanks is fine, I guess, but it's a strategic decision that doesn't really seem to be paying off. It's a strategic decision that he's not really following up on tactically, because he keeps on trying to attack a pretty much unbreakable defense. when really he should be allocating his Shermans over here towards the headquarters, which is completely undefended. He could easily just drive right in and kill everything. He's got 2 Shermans. What would his opponent do? If he retreated a bunch of infantry, he'd probably get taken down by HE shells.
Enemy movement!
And this frontal assault on a Pack 43 is
Destroy!
pretty ill-advised. I'm not sure what he was thinking there. So
Grenadiers ready.
that's pretty much GG. He just threw away 2 Shermans and also a rifle squad apparently in the middle of that. Jeez. Oh, and he surrenders. Well, that was a pretty good example of fortifications doctrine, pretty much doing exactly what it's supposed to. If an American player just keeps hurling himself at an Axis defensive line, this is pretty much what's going to happen. So don't do that. Lesson learned. I hope both players have learned something from this game. ImSkemo in particular. I hope you enjoyed watching it. And that's going to end the video. Thanks for watching.